Hello my fellow whale watchers and welcome to another episode of Rush Hour. This time I wanted to cover one of the large maps and selected this battle on Canyon for you. On large maps, tactics typically are a little bit different because battles are more dominated by long range builds. But the principles that I have shown you in my past tactics videos are essentially the same. At the start we do something quite typical. I bring my Phantom to center right away. This is a mistake that many players make in beacon rush battles. They don't center starting bots directly to center, but capture their home beacons first. This often loses center for their team in the beginning, and sometimes already loses the battle, especially on maps like Canyon that do not provide a lot of cover. Once I arrived here, I do something that you are already familiar with by now, if you watch my tactics videos. I turn outwards of the beacon circle so that revenants that jump on me don't prevent me from taking the beacon. In this case, this doesn't happen, and since I went directly to center, our team gets this beacon. The two red Cabris come too late, center is blue. But now we are going to have a very hard time. Two Cabris that team up are almost impossible to take down, so we will depend on the firepower of our team in this situation. I will support my team as much as I can, with the limited firepower and the agility of my Phantom, but you can already see in this situation that in the current meta there is not a lot of space for old bots. The current beacon rush meta is dominated by Cabris, Revenants and Fenrir's, so the meta is tanks. Often the team with more tanks wins the battle, unless they are taken down by strong damage support builds such as optimized Sirens or Harpies, or anything with many weapon hardpoints for the bendy bullet weapons. So finally we die, but we continue to block center with our shell. So what you see here is something like the standard tactic on Canyon. Both teams get their home beacons and one team gets center, and then the fight is all about center. It is not unusual that this goes on like this until the end of the battle when one of the teams spots out. You guessed it, it's commonly the team with less tanks. But there are also exceptions, and one of the reasons why I selected this battle for you is that I wanted to show you some other moves that can also decide battles on this map. So here is now the situation that initiates this move. Let me replay the last few seconds. I want you to pay attention to the health of the Cabris when I shoot them. Did you notice it? One of the two Cabris is quite weak, because when shooting it, it loses quite some health. The other one is stronger, but it's not really so high on health anymore either. So I believe that I can drag the weak Cabri back to the red home beacon and maybe even bring him down. Let's see. So we jump down and wait for our ability to come back. Here we go. Do you see how fast the Cabri is losing health? This is not a maxed Cabri, so indeed we will manage to bring it down. And the only remaining beacon defender on the red beacon is a Tyr, which does not run brawling weapons and also does not seem to be maxed, so I believe that we can be very annoying here. The Shell has a great asset, which is his physical shields, which offer great protection against energy weapons and bendy bullets, and in this situation we will now take advantage of that, because we will just occupy half of the red team, which will hopefully jump in here with a lot of their robots. This tactic is called opponent binding, and it is most efficient if you manage to do this for the beacons that are furthest away from all other beacons on the map. On Canyon, this is the beacon where we are located at the moment. So finally, half the enemy team would manage to bring us down, but look at this situation here. This is the result of opponent binding, so as a consequence our team has really good chances to get the other 4 beacons on this map. Perfect. This is exactly what we wanted. So these are my remaining options. What would you do now in this situation? Feel free to pause and think about it. Alright, here is what I did. I waited. Also, this is a quite common tactic. You don't need to jump in right away. Maybe there is no good option, or it's simply not necessary at that point. So we look how things develop and then we make our choice. So 4 enemy players now have to drag themselves from beacon A towards the other beacons. Look at that. So from a tactical point of view, this is a great situation from a team perspective, but of course your team also needs to be able to take advantage of it. So let's stop here again. The situation has changed a bit, which gives us a better understanding on how we can be most helpful for our team. What would you do? So look what I did. Surprised? I think most of you would have jumped on center, right? But I chose to bring my tanky support Capri and snitch the red home beacon away again, basically for free. Sometimes it's that easy, and once we have done that, I will now retreat a bit and support my team with 500 meter range damage, charging my nuclear amplifier in the process. And now I will make a couple of mistakes. So here you have the opportunity to learn from them and to make it better than me next time. Firstly, there comes a Nodens and wants to take our beacon, but I'm so focused on destroying this Typhon that I just let him invade, because the first thing that I could have done was to block our beacon. The second thing that I could have done, which probably would have been the best option, simply was to retreat, for example behind the cover next to the beacon. Instead, I did neither nor and stayed somewhere in no man's land between cover and beacon. Logical consequence, I get suppressed, lockdown, EMP blasted, and in less than 5 seconds I lose an almost full Capri with a nuclear amplifier that was 2/3 charged. So that was quite some blunder. And the next blunder is just to come. In this situation I thought that it's a good idea to save beacon E. Usually that's a reasonable choice, and usually the right robot to bring in this situation is probably the Havoc Ravana. So let's do that. Just to run into a full shotgun minus on the open field. And to make it even worse, I activated my damage amplification microchips just before he activates his reflector shield. So a few seconds after we lost the full Capri, we lose a full Ravana, basically for nothing. Again, don't make the same mistakes that I did. Try to understand what you're getting yourselves into before you get yourself into a random situation. So now we are in this situation, and I would not have bet any cent on our team to still win this. We are 5 capped, but there's also a bit of hope. In fact, the situation is quite weird. Most of our team is at the periphery of the map, so there is a chance that we may get A and E back. But knowing that there is a shotgun minus at E, I thought that it is a good idea to get my luchador there. Then try to get the beacon back and attack the more central beacons together with my team. Why not? Let's go. Alright, at least the minus is gone. We are getting this beacon back, but a lot of opponents are shooting us from the other side of the map as well. And there's also a hawk. I can deal with the hawk, but not with the Basilisk Charanga at the same time, so it will bring us down quite quickly. Again, this could have been played a bit better from my side, but we have our Puncher Orochi left and our team has been quite busy in the meantime in trying to get beacons back. So for sure, the situation is much better now than before. I don't want to jump in with my Orochi directly at E, because I may get toasted in a few seconds, so instead I jump in at our spawn and try to take out the hawk from here. So let's see how this goes. So we managed to keep the beacon blue, and we also get team support by a Capri, and all of a sudden this situation looks quite good. So let's bring this hawk down finally, and then help our team at our home beacon, which is the only one that is being fought for, because all the other beacons are blue. Who would have thought that just a couple of minutes ago? What a crazy battle. We made some clever moves, but also some blunders that we can learn from. In the end, we could even turn around a 5 cap and somehow get all beacons back just in time, taking advantage of the fact that the red team got more and more decimated. Nice stats on both teams. Congratulations to my teammates for winning this great fight, and also congratulations to the team of the red top duo for being such fantastic opponents. I hope that this Rush Hour video was useful for improving your own Beacon Rush gameplay. Thanks a lot for watching and see you on my channel.